Yes, my screen is visible.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, it's clear.
So in second chapter, we are having few sloka. One of them is 2.7. So actually, what is the second chapter? The second chapter is mainly, basically, is like the gist of Bhagavad Gita. Gist of Bhagavad Gita is the second chapter, and content of the Gita summarized. It's just like gist. So the seventh text, somebody will have to read this. Anyone is?
Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji, I'll unmute some.
Vivan, please unmute.
Yes.
Vivan.
कर्पण्या दोषोपतः सौभवा प्राच्यं मे त्वधर्मान् समुद्धचेतायक अस्यान्यस्यतं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यास्तेऽहं सधीमं त्वं प्रापन्नम्.
Yes. Translation.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll unmute someone.
Okay,
There is Dhania. You can unmute.
Sanvi Mahesh, please
Okay.
unmute.
Someone read this translation. Someone will have to read the purport. Okay.
Yes, can Sanvi read?
Yes, Sanvi, please read. Sanvi.
Is not
Yes.
Yes, Sanvi. Please read the translation.
Yes, now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all the composers because of misleadingness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me.
Yes. So in the first chapter, we have already learned that Arjuna is confused regarding the war because he's compassionate, and on the opposite side, he saw his grandfather, his cousin brothers, the teachers. So many people are there. So is it right to kill them? Is it not a sin? So that is the reason Arjuna got confused. So same thing Arjuna is telling to Krishna, I am very confused, and I am miserly weakness. This is miserly weakness. I am not able to know what is right and wrong. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple. So Krishna, Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म समोड़चिता यच्छ्रेयसान निश्चितं गृहीतन में शिष्यस्ते हम स्वाधिमें त्वां प्रपन्नम. So शिष्यस्ते हम means I am your disciple. Now I am surrendering to you, and please instruct me what is right for me. Now on the purport, first, okay, purport, somebody read this.
Okay,
First,
Sarayu.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll unmute someone.
Araf, please unmute.
There is
Araf, please unmute.
Purport.
Araf.
By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities
an
is a source of perspective for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance or executing the purpose of life.
Okay,
Always.
just a minute. So will just discuss and go one by one. So here Krishna, here by nature own way, the complete system of material activity is a source of perplexity for everyone. Means in this material world, everyone is confused. So what we have to do, what is good, what is bad, like that, always there is a confusion. Whether in study, whether when we are going to anywhere, or when we are starting something, any work, so everywhere there is a confusion. So for that reason, Krishna is telling that always you need a spiritual master who will guide you, because you read somewhere and you will be confused, either it is a book or internet. That is the reason spiritual master will guide you in the way what is right for us. So similar for that reason, Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. Next.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll
Ar-
learn.
Arav, please unmute.
He's getting another chance.
Arav, please unmute.
Advice to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such the perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the dispel succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse.
Yes, so Krishna is telling, so here it has been discussed that always in all situations we have to follow a spiritual master, especially when we are progressing in spirituality. In this material world, confusion is must. Anything you do, there will be confusion. So you have to find out the right person who can show you the path. Okay, so here, because there are a lot of confusion for Krishna, whether to fight or not to fight, fighting is sin or fighting is not sin, because it is absolutely essential for them now. Now, he is thinking that we leave the war and go to the forest and stay there like Brahmin by begging. And that is also for them. But is it right for a Kshatriya? Because the work of Kshatriya is to protect the people. If they will go and stay in the forest, who will protect the people of their country? Then they are not doing their prescribed duty. Once they will not do the prescribed duty, then it is a sinful activities. So all these things are confusing for the Arjuna. That is the reason he surrendered to Krishna, telling, I am your disciple. Please instruct me what is right and what is wrong. Okay. So this is about 2.7. What is the next sloka?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll.
Hare Krishna.
No, next sloka is 2.11.
Okay, Prabhuji.
1 minute, I'll go to that.
Prabhuji, there is someone in the waiting room.
Yes, that is Sarayu. Yeah, she's back. Also, can I ask Sarayu? She keeps on raising her hands if we put them down. So please stop raising your hands.
Okay. Now somebody read the 2.11.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll
Uh,
unmute someone. There is a Om. You can unmute.
Om, please unmute.
He muted himself. Where is Om?
Hare Krishna. Someone keeps on muting me.
Hello.
Om is unmuted.
Yes. Shri Bhagwan उवाच असोक्यन् अन्वासो च त्वं प्रजनावदंश्च भसासे गतसून् अगतसूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडितः.
Yes. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha Asocyan Anusachascha Pragya Badascha Bhasase Gata Suna Gata Suscha Nanu Sochanti Panditaha. So the meaning, translation is, somebody read the translation.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
I'll unmute. There is Sarayu.
Dashwin, please unmute. Dashwin.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
While speaking learnt words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead.
Yes, so Krishna here telling, so in the first chapter, Krishna only hear about the Arjun word. This is right, that is right, this is there. So Arjun told many things, but Krishna didn't tell anything in the first chapter. So that is a sign of a good teacher. So good teacher first listen to the disciple or the student, what he is asking, what is his doubt, then he will open the mouth. So exactly Krishna did same thing. In the first chapter, Krishna didn't tell anything to the Arjun. Arjun was only telling everything. Now Krishna started speaking to Arjun that you are like a learned person, but you are not looking like a talking like a learned person. While speaking learned word, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So now Krishna will describe why somebody will not lament for living or dead. That means a living and dead person are almost same for a wise man. Okay, how it is same? Then we'll go to this one. Just read this, Aman, purport.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll unmute someone. There is Arith. You can unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows that is what is body and what is a soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued the religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he is consequently lamenting for something he was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material of body.
Yes. So now Krishna started talking. Now he's telling that Arjun, you are not talking like a learned person. You are talking like a very unwise person because you are thinking that body belong to you. And but a intelligent person knows that there is a soul inside the body. We are soul, not the body. Every time body changes. Okay. So like our material science do not have any concept of soul today. Okay, so we are studying many things, but we are studying only the gross body. Whatever we are able to see, different organs of our body, that is the material body. Even today, scientists think that there is no term like spirit inside our body, the soul. There is no concept of soul. But if there is no soul in our body, then what is the difference between a living body and a dead body? Scientists think that living body uh, and dead body, living body consists of only few chemicals. Our body made up of chemicals and created by chance, our science is thinking, but that is not correct. So I'll show you one more thing so that you can understand. 1 minute. Can you see this presentation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So some people tell that science is practical and spirituality is impractical, and what they think that science tells our body is made up of chemicals and chemical reactions and created by chance. So this is the modern science. They do not have any spiritual component. So modern science tells that our body do not have any spiritual component. It consists of only the gross chemicals and it is created by the chemical reactions. But in spirituality, we know there are three types of body. One is the gross body, one is subtle body, and another is the spiritual body or the soul. Okay, subtle body is the mental body. When all the three will be taken care of, then we are taking care of the body as a whole. So what happened? This is the material science. So what happened? Just are we just a bundle of chemicals which have aligned together by chance? Definitely not. So what happened? In the early year of 20th century, a scientist analyzed the constituent of human body. So he has just taken a human body and analyzed how many things are there, what are the chemicals present in our body. So what he found that is that the human body has made up of following constituents. So whatever chemical came from our body, it can produce iron to make at least 6 small nails, carbon to make 900 pencils, sugar to sweeten 10 cups of coffee, potassium to fire a toy cannon. Okay, then he said that human body was made up of following constituent: lime and fat to make 7 bar of soap, phosphorus to make 20 matchboxes, water to fill 10-gallon water tank, a little sulfur, a little calcium, and other trace elements. So he has analyzed completely our body with what are the chemicals are there inside our body. Okay, then what he got? So these are the components he got, mainly the calcium, iron, phosphorus, water, and other substances. So as a whole, he analyzed and he calculated what is the cost of our body as per chemicals. So he found out that the cost of our body of total chemicals is 210 rupees. Do you think our body is 210 rupees? Definitely not. So our body is so valuable, even crores and crores of rupees somebody give us, so nobody will give the body. That means there is something in our body which makes our body very valuable. Our body is very, very valuable, even more than crores of rupees. So that is not because of chemicals, because whatever chemical is there inside our body, it costs only 210 rupees. So that means something is there in our body which makes our body more valuable. And it is nothing but the spiritual component of our body, that is the soul. So material science till today not able to understand this. So don't you feel we are more than the chemicals which constitute our body? Definitely, we are more than chemicals. And spirituality tells our body consists of a gross element and a spiritual component which is called soul, the life energy. If life energy is not there, there is no difference between a living body and a dead body. When the life energy is removed from our body, it became a dead body. Okay, so this thing, our spiritual science, our material science is not able to understand till today, after 100 years of scientific research. So what is the next sloka? Can anybody tell?
Hare Krishna, please
Hmm.
raise your hand
No,
if
one
you.
thing.
No, Prabhuji is asking.
Next sloka, I think 212, yes.
Prabhuji, someone from the co-host are muting us, Prabhuji. Me and Sahaj. They are
Yes.
muting, Prabhuji.
Who?
Prabhuji, it can
Someone.
be Ahan, Prabhuji, Ahan. He's muting continuously.
Yes.
So, I am not muting.
Okay, just somebody read this sloka, 212, 2.12.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Raise your hand.
Prabhuji, no one are raising hand.
Yes, we have.
Ashutosh.
Please unmute.
नटे नत्वं एहं जतुनाशं नत्वं मे जनार्दभ न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वायम् अतः परम्.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Translation.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll unmute someone. There is Sarayu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Never translation. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor are these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Yes. So read this part of this purport.
Okay, Prabhuji, there. Sarayu. Sarayu. Yes.
Um,
Sarayu.
I should again read this purport also.
Yeah.
Okay. In
I think maybe we should give chance to someone else.
one more thing, someone from the co-host stopped my video and I'm not able to on my video.
Yes, Prabhuji, that's the incident only, Prabhuji. Someone is doing that.
Yes.
Yes, someone is muting me.
Can someone make my camera to on because I'm not able to. Yes, thank you.
Okay. You can read the
Okay.
purport. She muted.
Yes.
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 In the
Okay.
Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Svetasvatara Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of innumerable.
She is getting muted. Who is doing
Innumerable.
Yes. Someone is muting.
Living entities in terms of their different situations according to individual work and reaction of work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is also by his plenary portions alive in the heart of every living entity. Only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace.
Yes. Yes. So what happened here? Krishna is telling, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor the future, all any of us cease to be. So that means Krishna is going to the concept of spirit or soul. Now soul is eternal, cannot be destroyed. In this chapter later on, we'll see the anatomy of the soul. What is soul, what is its size, what is the characteristic of the soul, everything we'll read. But here Krishna is giving one hint that soul is eternal and cannot be destroyed. We will stay as a soul. Previously we are there, now we are there, and later also will be there. So what will change is our body. The present body we have to leave and take another body. Again we have to live. So till we'll get liberation and we'll go to the spiritual world, till that period we have to take different bodies. So the Mayavadi people, they think that we'll go and merge into the God, merge into the Lord. So it does not happen. Krishna is telling we are separate and Lord is separate. Krishna is separate and we are separate. So we'll go and stay in the spiritual world separately, not merging to the Krishna. So why the Mayavadi people think that we are merging into Krishna? Because they concentrate mainly on the light. That is the Brahma Yoti. That light surrounds the spiritual world. They are not able to see the beautiful form of Krishna. They will see only the Brahman. The Brahman is the light surrounding the spiritual world. Usually we merge into that light. Our spirit merge into that light. So that is not Krishna or the Supreme Soul. That is the Brahmayoti. So they feel that that is God and we are merging into the God. So that is not that true. We are merging into the Brahmayoti, the light, which is quite separate from the God. So we'll stay separate, Krishna is separate. So that is Krishna is telling. Now next sloka is 213. Yes, somebody raise this.
Please raise your hands if you want to read sloka.
Yeah, please. There is Dhan.
Okay.
You can raise hand. You can unmute. Yes, Danya.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Yes, very nice. So translation.
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
Yes, so Krishna is telling, Dehi nasmin yatha dehe kaumarang javanang jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namayati. So Dehi nasmin yatha kaumara javanang jara. Kaumarang means boyhood, childhood. And javanam means youth. And jara means old age. So our bodies passes from different stages. First childhood, then young age, then old age. Similarly, our soul go from one body to another body after the death. When our body become useless, our soul will discard the body and take another body. Okay?
Prabhuji, someone muted you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now somebody read this part, first stanza.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Pranav P, please unmute.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Purport: since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhisma nor Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So, Bhisma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So, in either case, there was no cause of lamentation.
Yes, so what Krishna is telling, our body changes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly our soul also changes the body. From one body, when it become old, useless, the soul discard the body and take another body. Now, the next life will be what, which body he will take, it depends upon the karma. That we'll discuss in the later chapter, it will come. So what happened here? Suppose you will be, according to karma, you may get a material body or you may get a spiritual body. Suppose you will be liberated from this earth, then you will get a spiritual body. You will directly go to the spiritual world. So they are here telling the Bhisma and Drona are the very noble soul. So surely they are going to the spiritual body in the next life, or at least in the heavenly body. Heavenly body is not the spiritual body. It is a material body, but it is a superior body than human body. The Devi Devata, that demigods, their body are superior to human body, but those are not spiritual. These are again material body. So that means if you do the good work, the punya karma, then you will go to the heavenly kingdom to have a body like demigods. But to go to the spiritual world, you have to do the spiritual work. That is the akarma. Karma, akarma, bikarma. We have already discussed. So, bikarma is the papa karma, sinful activities, which we should never do. Karma is the punya karma, or the good work. And akarma is the spiritual work. So if you do the karma, the punya karma, will go to the heavenly kingdom. We'll have the body like demigods. But if you do akarma or the spiritual work, then we will go to the spiritual world, and there our body will be the spiritual body. So Krishna is telling, if somebody is dying, either he will get a material body again, or he will get a spiritual body. Then why to cry? This is the soul. We are not the body, we are the soul. Okay. So next we'll go to next sloka. It is the last.
Yes, Prabhuji.
2.14.
Please raise your hands. There is Ojas. You can unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama paino nityas tam stitikshasva bharatah.
Yes. So translation.
O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, ocean of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Yes.
Hare
So
Krishna.
yes, here Krishna is telling, matra sparses tu kanteya sitasna sukha dukkadaha. Sita usna. Sita means winter, and usna means summer. So non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer. Like we are having different seasons. On that season, winter is one and summer is one. But this season comes and goes. They are not permanent. So sometimes winter will come. It will go after sometimes. Then summer will come. This will also not stay for long. It will also go. Similarly, Krishna is telling, the happiness and distress also comes and goes. It won't stay for a long time. So those people who are intelligent people, they know this thing. So when happiness comes, they won't be very happy because they know that it will go, and this will be followed by distress. And that is the reason they have to prepare for the next coming distress. But the foolish people, when happiness comes, they will go and enjoy like anything. So after some times, they will fall into distress and they can't do because they are not prepared. So intelligent people, when happiness comes, they won't be very happy because they know after this happiness, distress will come. So they have to be prepared for that. Similarly, when distress comes, they know that the distress also will not stay for a long time. It will also go. So they won't be that much lamenting for the distress. Okay. And some people, the foolish people, what they will do, when a lot of distress comes, they will commit some wrong thing, like somebody suicide and somebody do some sinful activities. So that should not be done because they know that this also are not going to stay for a long period, and just what they will have to do, tam titiksha bharata. Tam titiksha bharata means one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So just you have to wait for some time. If you are intelligent, if something bad happens, just wait. Within few days it will go, definitely. But the non-intelligent people become fully disturbed and do some sinful activities. That should not be done, Krishna is telling. Yes. Somebody read the purport.
Yes, Prabhuji. Unmute someone. There is Shiva Chandramouli. You can unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Purport. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha. It is very cold at the time, but in spite of that, a man who abides by religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of Kshatriyas. And although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to a platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya.
Yes.
Uh,
Next.
Prabhuji, can I continue?
Yes, continue.
The two different names of address given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies his great blood relations from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have great heritage. Great heritage brings great responsibility in the matter of proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I also want to say something.
Yes.
In English, there's a proverb saying that this shall also pass.
Yes. So what happened here? Arjun is a great warrior. He's a great personality, both from the father and mother side. So Krishna is telling, you are a Kshatriya, you are a great person. So that is the reason you should not forget that there is a prescribed duty for you. Okay, for everybody there is a prescribed duty. And because Arjun is a very prominent figure, for him also the prescribed duty is very important. And the prescribed duty for a Kshatriya, Arjuna is Kshatriya. Kshatriya is the protecting the kingdom and the people of the kingdom. So instead, what Arjun is telling that I have to leave the war and go to the forest. So that means he is doing the sinful activities. He's not protecting the people. Suppose you think that Duryodhan will be the king. What will happen? He itself is a not supposed to be the king. He's a very torturing person. He will torture the people like anything. That is the reason people do not want. Nobody want Duryodhan to be the king. So in this situation, Arjun should protect the people by fighting with Duryodhana and killing Duryodhana, so that the Yudhishthira should be the king and everybody wants that one. So if Arjuna is not doing that, then he is not doing his prescribed duty. So Krishna is telling, always and always you have to do your prescribed duty. Okay, without disturbance. Similarly, whatever may be the situation, like it may be happiness, it may be distress, like winter and summer. In winter and summer also, some people doing their prescribed duty. Similarly, we should always do our prescribed duty. That is the opinion of Krishna. So next class we'll continue next. I think this much is enough for this class. And next class we'll be discussing about the anatomy of the soul. What is soul? What is the characteristic of soul? What is the size, shape, where it exists? Everything we should know about the soul. So that is fine. We'll take some questions.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll unmute them. Please
Yes.
raise your hand so that I can ask. I can unmute yourself.
Navya, please unmute.
Prabhuji, someone is muting us, Prabhuji.
I don't know.
That's very mysterious, Prabhuji. When I'm unmuting, someone is muting. Someone is switching off
Yes.
our video. Even Sahaj also is
Yeah.
doing that.
Because only co-host can do that, so it can only be Ahan.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It was not me.
Okay. You unmute someone. Anyone want to ask any questions?
There is
Diya.
Diya S. You can unmute Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Diya S.